We're just going to jump in the middle and then we're going to swim our way to the edge. So it's all going to be
Yeah,
good.
so we have a little bundle of nerves in the back of our brain called the RAS, reticular activation system. And it basically determines of all the millions and trillions of bits of information that are around us every day, it determines what actually gets into our awareness and gets processed. So there are bits of information that align with abundance. There are bits of information that align with fear and everything in between. Right. So we allow into our awareness the things that are in alignment with our state of mind and our state of energy. So when we start to reprogram the nervous system into a rest and relax state, when we start to reprogram our language into being in the present and being in gratitude and in abundance, we start to notice the bits of information more that align with abundance and gratitude and having what we need and having health, right?
Mhm.
Start to align with those things. And when you start to realize those things more and more by that reprogramming and the other stuff disappears, it seems like your world has just changed.
This is Leadership Sound Bites. Real leaders, real moments, real growth.
Welcome to this week's episode of Leadership Sound Bites with Michelle and my very special guest, Cynthia Fluck. And I said it right. I'm very
Yes, you
focused
did.
on that.
Yes, you did.
Um, she is a holistic transformation practitioner. You do energy healing and acupuncture and
Not functional medicine.
functional medicine. Sorry about that. It was somebody else I interviewed with acupuncture. There is something in that space of functional medicine and alternative medicine. I'll put it in that basket.
Yeah,
That that's been around for a long time, and it's making a comeback because it's real and grounded in real stuff.
it is. Yeah.
Um, so I am looking forward to the conversation. I know we were chatting before we hit record and figured, okay, we're having this conversation. We might as well hit record and have this
Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
Um, the quote that you brought, I love. So if you can share it, and then we can chat.
So it's by Eckhart Tolle, whom I love. And it is not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living.
Um, what does that mean for you? Because you made the comment, and I think you also said it was the power of now.
Yep. So there's a book, The Power of Now, that by
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle, that's all about staying present, which I absolutely love. So it's this quote: "It's not uncommon for people to spend their whole life waiting to start living." I think it can be interpreted in so many different ways, and there are so many different conversations that could branch off of this. In the gist of it, though, most people are so down in the weeds in the rat race, right? Of working and going through the same cycles over and over on the hamster wheel, trying to make money and saying, okay, well, I'm going to rest and relax when I retire, when I retire, when I retire. And for most people, that retirement never comes. Or when they do retire, they've worked so hard and just completely depleted their health that by the time they get there, they don't have the energy, the health, the mobility, or even the wherewithal, maybe not even the mental capacity to go out and live and enjoy life. And the lesson from this is when we're constantly fighting for a better future, we're living in the future, we're not living in the present moment, and we can't just keep saying tomorrow, 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 and tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow never comes. And in the end, what do you regret? You don't regret not making enough money. You regret not doing the things and living your dreams. You regret not spending time with the people you love. You
Mhm.
regret not dropping that whimsical money, that extra money on an experience. And you're not going to be take your money to the grave with you.
No.
um,
You
so
reminded me. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no, it's all about living in the present moment, really. I think it's living about
Yeah.
living in the present moment and really having gratitude for what you do have in the present moment and doing the things that are really truly important while you still can.
Um, you and I chatted because there's a lot going on in the world right now. We're recording this on September 11th of 2025, and that in itself is a memorable day for all the wrong reasons. Um, but there's a lot happening in the world. And while we're not going to get into the political aspect of it, part of this stuff, because of what you do for a living, what I do for a living, is about uh, preparing people or allowing people or showing people paths, tools, templates, practices, whatever you may say, that we can live our best life regardless of what's going on in the outside world.
Mhm.
Uh, we have 0% control in the outside world. We have 100% in how we respond to it and engage with and interact with it. And
Yes.
so part of that too, when you did the quote, it brought me back to a book that I read when I was going through the coaching program. It was one of the hardest reads and skinny frickin' book, Untethered Soul.
I
Um,
love that book.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love it. I
it's
have it. I have
yes.
it.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But I remember being toward the end of it, and there was a chapter called Lessons from Death. And I'm it's homework, right? Because it's school that I'm going through. And so I'm in bed on a Sunday reading this thing, right? Because I need to get through it. And it's not an adventure story that you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna go to the next chapter, but it's dense. It's dense. There's a lot of heavy concepts. And Lessons from Death, and I'm gonna paraphrase. And I'm laying there and I'm reading it, and it's basically saying that if you've got this, you find out that you've got 2 weeks to live, and you make this freaking list of all the stuff that you're going to do, in the next 2 weeks because you just found out you're going to die. What are you waiting for? Seriously. I mean, if those are the things that you want to do between now and then, we don't get warnings. Tomorrow's not guaranteed, promised, whatever it may be. So do those now. And I remember reading that chapter and getting done. I'm like, I am not doing enough with my life. Like I'm laying down reading this for homework, but it's like I needed to get up and start moving and doing stuff because it's true. I'm not a pessimist looking that we could die tomorrow. I'm an optimist going, I'm going to live for today.
Yes.
And that flip, and I was already on the journey of flipping that, but that flip is powerful as a reminder for people. And I think what you shared at the end of your sessions, when you have people that come in for functional medicine, energy, whatever it may be, you do a meditation. And I would appreciate if you would just share with people why you do it and the purpose of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So a lot of my clients, a lot of my clients are dealing with excess weight, honestly, but and there's more than that. There's autoimmune and all kinds of imbalances. A huge part of healing that is to get the body in a better vibrational space because our energetic being informs our physical being, not the other way around. And this is scientifically true and proven. So the people who do the physical work without trying to change their energy will heal much slower than people who change their energy. So I as a rule, every session I do with my clients, I always end with a 5 to 10 minute guided meditation with them. And the purpose of this has um, many aspects to it, really. I mean, one is just to rebalance them so any energy healing we've done with them doesn't have side effects of fatigue and processing symptoms and things like that after the fact. So it rebalances the chakras and the energies. But another is to really help to get into their subconscious mind and retrain their nervous system into a relaxation state and into being present. So, part of the meditation that I always do is to, once I rebalance the chakras, is to take the soul energy, the consciousness, and allow it to expand and to raise that consciousness out of the weeds of daily life, out of that 3D low vibrational fear and worry and guilt and shame and everything that comes at us at every day, and raise that consciousness up above the weeds to a higher plateau and to disconnect from any influence of the past and to be completely open without judgment to anything that resonates with our energy of the future, without expectation of where it's going, but just to be open to new possibilities and to new opportunities and new doors that may open to us with the new future. and raising that consciousness up and keeping it fully present and seated in the present moment, which is another reason why I love the book The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It talks all about being present right here, right now. The past is gone. The future doesn't exist. There's no reason to worry about the future. Worry is fear of a future that has not happened yet. Fear and guilt and shame are some of the lowest vibrations. And we're bathing ourselves in those vibrations. We're making ourselves sick. They are toxic vibrations. Worrying about a future that hasn't happened yet has absolutely zero purpose. It will never change what will actually happen unless we're powerful enough to actually manifest some of that stuff, which is a bad consequence. And all it does is it hurts us. It hurts our health. It hurts our mentality. It hurts our happiness. It hurts our abundance. It hurts us. So if we can retrain our nervous system on a very deep level to stay present and to stay in gratitude and in love and in authenticity and appreciation for who we are and what we have today, right now, then more of that will come to us. We'll attract that, right? The power of attraction, the law of attraction, right? From The Secret. You've read that. And just keeping people fully present. When the more we do this, the more we train ourselves to be fully present and just focus on our breath and to let go. We talked about breath last time, and to let go of anything that's not here and now and in our own domain, the more we can train ourselves to live in abundance and gratitude and be completely we can observe and we can be empathetic, excuse me, we can be empathetic to what's going around in the world around us, but we don't have to absorb that. We don't have to take it on. We don't have to live the agony of all of that that's around us. We can be sympathetic and we can be caring and compassionate without hurting ourselves with it.
It is, yeah, I'm bobbleheading. It is not fake it till you make it.
No.
And what I'm curious about, because I totally agree with all that. I mean, I have a meditation practice. I have a refocusing thing. There is a sense of, it's almost like renewal, re-energizing, right? Because what you talked about, and presence is it, and coming back to the now, is depression, is that backward look on stuff, right? And so the counter to that is getting present, the here and the now. Come into now. Let that stuff go. You can't do anything about what happened in the past. You have 100% control over now. And the same thing with the future. Don't worry about the future. Create the future. Right? Think about, focus on what you want, not from a worry place, but from a excitement, knowing, feeling, creating place.
I'll take it even a step further. Don't focus on what you want, focus on what you have.
Yes. Well, but you can also visualize the future as if you're coming from a place of having and not scarcity, right?
Yeah,
So
yes, exactly.
yes.
But
So
yeah.
yes, I think we're
My point is the word want is a word of lack.
yes.
The word want is scarcity. Want says I don't have it yet. Whereas if you're meditating, you meditate as if what's going to happen in the future is something you already have.
It exists.
Think and you feel as if it exists in the now. Because in the quantum field, there's no such thing as time. Everything exists right now. It's just a matter of what you're going to collapse into reality. So
It is a great distinction. It's one of those things though to make is people typically talk about things of what they don't want, right? So, I don't want that, I don't want this, it's like, so when you go from that negative whatever space, you're actually focused, because where focus goes, energy flows. You're focused on that stuff, and that's what your subconscious is gonna, and the universe is gonna go grabbing those things that you don't want. And so I agree with you. It's like we need to stay out of. So I'm curious, because I've seen changes with clients that I work with, shifting of words, language, if you will, focus on things, just all that. What have you noticed with your clients with these practices when that's added? And if they also take it, I'm sure you have some that go and continue that practice on their own versus others that the only time they get that practice is when they're with you.
Right.
What have you noticed?
Well, from a healing perspective, I can tell you that the people that don't do the energy work take a lot longer to heal if they ever do. Because when you don't, it's the tail wagging the dog. You know, you're trying to change an outcome as opposed to changing the root, right?
Mm.
But uh, almost without fail, after I do those meditations, people open their eyes and say, wow, I feel so much better. I feel so much lighter. I feel like the world is a better place. And what's really happening once you start to reprogram that is you're reprogramming your perspective also your on your life. So when you do that, I think last time did we talk about the RAS, the reticular activation system?
Say it again. It doesn't matter. Yeah, just say
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
So the RAS, we have a little bundle of nerves in the back of our brain called the RAS, reticular activation system. And it basically determines of all the millions and trillions of bits of information that are around us every day, it determines what actually gets into our awareness and gets processed. So there are bits of information that align with abundance. There are bits of information that align with fear and everything in between. Right. So we allow into our awareness the things that are in alignment with our state of mind and our state of energy. So when we start to reprogram the nervous system into a rest and relax state, when we start to reprogram our language into being in the present and being in gratitude and in abundance, we start to notice the bits of information more that align with abundance and gratitude and having what we need and having health, right?
Mhm.
And start to align with those things. And when you start to realize those things more and more by that reprogramming and the other stuff disappears, it seems like your world has just changed. The world hasn't changed. What's changed is the way you're observing it, right? That's what's changing. That is manifestation. We're
Mhm.
changing the way we observe the world. We're changing the way we notice and are ready to step into new opportunities. We are changing our outlook on life, and it becomes happier. I have people completely forget the way they used to be because they actually step out of the person that was making them sick and step
Mhm.
into a new version, a new optimized version of themselves. When they do, they forget. I say, well, we've been working together X amount of weeks. How are you feeling? Oh, good. I haven't really changed that much. Really? Okay, let's look at your symptom checklist from when we first started. How's this going? Oh, I forgot I had that. How's this going? Oh my gosh. I really? I completely forgot I felt that way. Right. And I go down the checklist and all of a sudden, I'm like, well, your symptom checklist today is at 10 points when it was in the 90s when we first started. And you're saying nothing's really changed? It's not that they don't feel like things have changed, it's just they don't remember. They completely forget. It's literally they're becoming a new person.
And you know,
It's powerful.
it's so exciting because it's and I'll say this, it's never too late.
No.
It's never too late. And I remember I had a client one time, and the comment was along the lines of, originally, I'm not that great at change now as I've gotten older. It's like, what? Say more about that. And it wasn't change, it was the way she was describing life, that she was battling or bumping up against just life because of how she was engaging with it. And it was this thing of, oh, the language was disappointment. She said, I'm not managing disappointment well. And I'm like, what do you mean by disappointment? Right? Because that's a pretty heavy word, right?
Right.
And disappointment is also this thing that when you say it, when I say disappointment and I asked her what she felt, I feel like I don't have anything I can do about it. Right? I'm powerless in a disappointment. Well, that was disappointing. Like, I guess I'll move on and leave that thing versus their challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Challenges, I'm readying myself. Like when you start to go up a hill, I've got a walk that I go on, right? I don't run, I walk. And the walk's got some pretty intense hills that I go up. It's a challenge. And I ready myself when I go up the hill to keep the same pace. But I'm not disappointed that something happened because it's a totally different thing that you're signaling to your body. And so, to your point, too, when we start to look at life through a different lens, of the goodness in it, the beauty in it. Someone the other day I heard said, have a practice of looking for the beauty that surrounds you. And it doesn't, and I'm not talking about this, gorgeous made up whatever, but the leaf or the hummingbird or the way that the sun glistens off the water, or the sound of the fountain in the front.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, or the squirrels that just jump around and play. They make me laugh. But when
Yeah.
we do that, then we start seeing, to your point, we start collecting those really cool things and cool experiences, and not the confirmation bias of I've got a bowl of crap and oh, look, there's more crap that I can put in my bowl of crap. No, I've got a bucket of flowers. And look, there's another one.
Yeah, yeah. One of my favorite practices when people are really stuck in the weeds is just in that kind of twilight state when you're falling asleep at night, right? Just start naming things you're grateful for. And it could be any tiny thing. Like, I'm grateful that I have a pillow under my head. I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head. I'm grateful that I'm warm right now. I'm grateful that I'm still breathing. I'm grateful, and just start saying that because it's saying things like that. And it doesn't matter how tiny, they just as long as they're true, right? The things that you actually do have, because it really starts to reprogram and recenter your energy into a higher state. And it's amazing when you do it. Your chest, if you're not used to feeling a lot of love and gratitude in your chest, if you're very contracted and closed, it actually starts to ache a little bit. It starts to hurt in your chest. Like, oh my God, it hurts because I feel so much gratitude that it's actually expanding the energy, and my heart is actually stretching and waking up, and it feels almost achy at first when it happens. But when you do finally break through that ache and get that gratitude to open from your chest and get that heart chakra expanded and open, I mean, the gratitude will almost bring you to tears. But the
Mm-hmm.
beauty about doing this before you go to sleep is then you dream about it, right? And then when you wake up in the morning, you're changed a little bit, just a little bit
Mm-hmm.
every night. You're changed. And then instead of waking up and saying, "Oh God, here's another day," you wake up and go, "Oh, the sun's out. Oh, it's raining. I love the sound of rain."
I do
Or
love the sound of
I
rain. I
do
do
too.
love
I
the
love
sound of
waking
rain.
up to rain. I'm like, "Oh, I just want to stay in bed. It's so soothing."
I do. And I love the smell of the earth and the
Yes.
environment after the rain.
Mm-hmm.
It just has this really cool smell. The other thing I heard the other day is what magical things are going to happen today. And it's that just setting the stage to where you're scanning for that stuff now.
Yeah.
You
Uh-huh.
know and it's the same thing in leadership when stuff comes at you to where you've got a lot going on, your team has a lot going on, you don't have bandwidth to take on anything else, and yet something else came your way. People are like, their first reaction is, we don't have time for this, we can't do this, we there's no way.
Right.
Well, from that point and that mental space, you're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, say, okay, here's a new thing, here's something else. So what needs to change? How can we do this? Right? And you're going into this place of possibilities and opening up. So the brain is now scanning for, how do we answer
Solution.
this? Yes, how do we
Absolutely. Yeah.
answer this?
And it goes
Um,
back into the breath work we talked about last time too, and doing breath work and having heart brain coherence, because when you are looking for possibilities and you do have that heart brain coherence going on from the deep breathing every hour on the hour,
yes,
if you're practicing
yes.
that, and from the deep breathing, those possibilities, the answers will come to you from somewhere
So do
else,
you do
possibly.
that practice for yourself every hour, or is it
Not
just
every hour on the hour, but I do,
okay?
if I do find myself getting tense or in overwhelm. Overwhelm is a choice, right? So
It is.
I just stop
So
and
is
close my
stress.
eyes and do some deep breathing exercises and get myself regrounded and say, okay, it's all good. It's all good.
And as a reminder, it's through the nose.
Always
Uh,
through the nose. Mm-hmm.
yes, and there's power in that. I have an acute awareness now about the nose since you and I chatted the last time that I didn't have. I mean, I knew it, but I didn't know it at the level because of how deep we went.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, and I don't know that we talked about it last time, Cynthia, is what was your shift? Because you're all in. I'm all in with viewing life differently and empowering myself to view life differently. And life is a gift, right? I
Mhm.
get to meet amazing people. I get to, I'm I'm happy.
Mhm.
And it's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
What was a turning point for you? Can you look back and go, you know what? I was living life this way, and then some shift happened, something happened.
I don't know that that's a short story.
Is there
So,
a Reader's Digest version?
yeah, well, I mean, it's more, it hasn't, I can't say there's been one single turning point for
Yeah.
me. It's been more of an awakening process, and a um a gradual a gradual shift. So I grew up in a very disciplinarian environment, like all the whole, like, if you can't see it, touch or feel it or taste it, it doesn't exist kind of mentality. You know, I was in the military and all around the group think and the towing the line obedience and all of this stuff, right? It really took the first shift that happened was more around health and the medical system. I had a friend of mine, very dear, close mentor. She passed of cancer. And I was just like, this doesn't make sense. How are we putting millions and millions of dollars into research? And it's been decades and still they don't even know what the cause is. I'm like, something isn't right. Like, I just always had this sense something wasn't right. And I ended up doing some research and research that countered my innate beliefs in the way medicine worked, right? But I looked at it as like something's not right, so I'm going to look at the opposing point of view and see and just prove to myself that I'm not missing something. And I looked at it, I'm like, I was missing something big, and my entire foundation just crumbled under me. Everything I thought I knew, just completely gone. Um,
That's gotta be that's gotta be a really tough time. And for me, when you said that, it was like the bottom fell out, but then again, I now have hope because
it
what
was
what
it
I
was
had wasn't working. I
It was
mean,
a
it's
strange
like,
dichotomy. It was a on one hand it was like, holy crap, my whole life's been a lie, but on the other hand it was like, now it makes sense. It just clicked. I'm like, it makes sense. I can feel this intuitively that this other information makes sense, and I wanted to know more. And so I basically, I don't know if you've ever been on Gaia.com. It's all esoteric kind of, it's an online video channel. They have shows and interviews and all this stuff. And it's everything from meditation to aliens. I mean, and everything in between, right? It's all this esoteric stuff. And
it's a smorgasbord.
yeah, yeah,
The
but
other
it's
stuff.
everything that's not mainstream.
Yeah.
And so I just started binge watching this for probably about 4 weeks afterwards. I was up till 2 in the morning, just watching the stuff under the covers, like, because I was just glued to it. I was just trying to figure out, like, what do I need to know that I don't know? Like, I was trying to rebuild that foundation. So I'd watch something and be like, okay, this that fits, that doesn't. Started piecing together stuff from here and there and rebuilding what my truth was again. And in that process, that's how I found Dr. Briley Nelson, who does a emotion code, and that's where I started the whole energy healing thing. But it was that process, and then over the years of doing the energy practice initially, is where I very incrementally took steps away from the Newtonian physical world, more into the quantum physics and into the power of attraction, the law of attraction, and the secret. The work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, who's all about creating in the quantum and the science behind uh, the way our brains work and the way our health works and all of that. And I started just step by step, little by little, evolved, and I'm still evolving. I'm
Yeah.
sure I'm not even where I'm going to be. I'm probably look back on myself 10 years from now and going, hi, she was so ignorant, she was such a baby.
You
Right?
were
But
so
I look back on myself 10 years before now, and I don't recognize myself anymore, and I've changed so much in that time, just with the awareness. And it's another one of my favorite quotes, is the more I learn, the less I know.
Mm-hmm.
Because every time I learn a new nugget, a whole new world opens up to me. I'm like, oh, now I need to go down that rabbit hole. Right.
There's more
Um,
to learn.
yeah. So I don't know if that answers your question,
No, it
yeah.
does, because the thing is, it's um not everyone's born open and accepting and knowing and all this stuff. And I think, to your point, um the more I know, the more the less that I know. And I'm in awe of people that have gone down from so many different perspectives
Yeah.
in similar things.
I
But
think that
this
everyone is born open and knowing, and it's the programming from the
I would
the
agree with you.
world that
I would
changes
agree
that,
with you.
closes that down.
Yeah.
When I was little, I had out of body experiences. I could hear what people were saying before they said it. I could hear their thoughts, and I knew what they were going to say. All of that stuff that got programmed out of me
Yeah.
as I got older. Right,
Yeah.
it wasn't
I
till
remember
I
those
had
deja
that
vu
finish off
moments
of it.
too when I was little. I
Yeah.
had them to where, I mean, I'm seeing in my head this thing, and then it happens later, and I'm like, this has already happened. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. But to your point, as a kid, I used to have the dreams that I flew on a
Me
beach
too.
ball.
I
I
used to
mean,
fly around our neighborhood.
oh my God,
I could see all the cars from a bird's eye
I
view and all the
loved
streets.
flying in my as a
Me
kid. It
too.
was the coolest feeling, but mine was a beach ball that I had between my legs, and I ran. It has to be the most awkward thing that you could do, right? Ran flapping my arms, and then off I went,
Yeah,
um,
that's out of body.
everywhere.
That's out
Yeah.
of body. Yeah,
It
that's
was just the
exactly right.
coolest feeling, you know? I mean, because in your dreams, it's like it's real. And I think that's one of the things too, is our brain doesn't distinguish between real and imagine.
No, it doesn't. But
Um,
I believe it is real. I mean, I believe our souls do.
yeah, well, I'm
I
sure
see the
it's
tether at
some
night.
dimension. It was the
Mhm.
coolest freaking feeling. I do miss that. At some point, it stopped happening. You know, I wasn't flying anymore, and
Yeah.
probably because I became an adult, and
It
adults
stopped
don't
for me, but
fly.
once I started waking up more, it started again.
Really?
Yeah, so
So
I've
I
yeah.
still have work to do. But I just, so for me, and I see it in you and other people I've talked to, a lot of this is the whole idea of leadership is develop ourselves to develop others.
Mhm.
It's experiencing this life and going through this journey to be the conduit, to be the instructor, to be the way that people can tap in and go, okay, I didn't know that. And to be able to give people in a way that it's digestible, because not everyone is going to binge watch all the stuff. It's too much.
Right.
But yet, if we can trickle it through or let people know, here's a practice that could work for you,
Start making shifts.
right? And they
Mhm.
experience it, and then they're back for more.
There's another really fun book that came out years ago. I'm not sure exactly when. I actually did a little book club with my boys when they were little with this book, but it's called E Squared by Pam Grout. Have you heard of it?
No.
So E Squared by Pam Grout, and it's the subtitle is 9 do-it-yourself experiments that prove your thoughts create your reality.
Oh,
It's really fun. It's really
I
fun.
love that.
Yeah, and it's all about like, okay, push the I believe button for now. Just follow these steps and try it and see what happens. A part of it's about the reticular activation system, like say, set the intention that you're going to see something that you don't normally see and observe what happens, right? Another is manifesting. I have a funny story about that if you have a minute. I don't know if you have
Yeah,
time for it.
I got a minute.
Um,
Do you have a minute? I got a minute.
I got a minute. I got a minute. Yeah. So one of them is about manifesting something into your life, right? And so, um, just for the heck of it, I'm like, okay, I ask and intend to receive $1,000 within the next 2 days, that I don't expect coming. That's I didn't earn, right? Or I didn't expect coming. And they say like the universe can have a sense of humor, right? So I open the mailbox the next day and we get one of those publishers clearinghouse envelopes, which I don't know if you've seen these
Yeah,
recently. You may have won
recently,
a
but
thousand
back in the,
dollars, right? And it
oh
was a
no.
fake check for $1,000. I thought, oh, ha ha, but that's pretty cool that happened the day after I manifested, right? And I hadn't seen one of those publishers clearinghouse things before or since in my mailbox. And that happened the day after. So I thought that's funny. But then, like the next day, I was in real estate in one of my past lives in this body. And we had moved down from New York, and I had referred a client right before I left that was, I didn't think they were going to buy or sell anything. I completely forgot about it. And the next day, the agent I referred that person to said, "Hey, so and so just closed on a house. I'm sending you your check tomorrow. It's $995." I was like, "Holy crap!" Like,
It's hilarious. I have one story of when I was traveling from Sacramento to it was Detroit, I think. And I had to make this really tight connection in Las Vegas. And so tight that originally with nobody lagging, it was 40-minute connection in between these flights. My flight was late leaving Sacramento to where the time that we are going to land in Las Vegas at a completely different gate was the time that the other plane was boarding.
oh my gosh.
And
Yeah.
so it was Southwest, so I do everything in my control and I sit in the second row back to where I can, in the middle seat so I can be at least the front. And I sat there in my brain and I said, I don't know how it's going to happen, but we're going to land. And by the way, I had to have my luggage make the transfer too because I had yoga pants on and I was doing a leadership development workshop. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know how it's going to happen in my head that I'm going to, we're going to land. I'm going to get off the plane. Me and my luggage will make the next flight and everything's great. And I just ran over that, not from a desperation place, but it just, hey, it's going to happen. And I visualized it literally me getting off the plane. I did kind of a little U-turn and got on the other plane. So we were pretty far apart gate wise. And we land in Vegas and we're taxiing for a minute and then stop suddenly. And I'm like, what is happening? Because I don't have time for this. I don't have time for stopping, right? And the
Yeah.
pilot comes on and he said, so we've had a gate change and now we're coming in at like E14 or something. And the plane that that was leaving was E12. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me right now? So seriously, we came up right next to the other plane. I got off the plane, did the little loop like I visualized, and I got on the other plane. I'm like, hello, thank you. But it's hilarious because it's possible. Instead of freaking out and panicking about I can't miss my plane, I just focused on what was going to happen. So my luggage made it, I made it, all the stuff, and I'm like, this is so cool.
That is so cool. That is so cool. And that
So
is not
yeah,
coincidence.
yeah.
There's no such thing as coincidence.
I love it. And the thing is, I did everything in my power. I mean, could I have sat in the back of the plane to where I finally got to an aisle seat? Yes. But we have to be an active part in this too.
Oh, for sure.
To your point, you were a salesperson. You did do the deal, right? All the stuff happened.
Yeah.
I just think it's awesome. I'm going to check that freaking book out.
Yeah, it's great. I think she did a follow on
my
too, E Cubed.
what is it?
She did a follow on called E Cubed too, but I haven't read that one yet. But
Okay, well, we're just going to recommend what we've read.
yes.
Here's the list because there's so many books that we
I
could
know. All these books keep coming to mind. I'm like,
So
yeah,
all these that I've wanted to read and haven't read yet. Yeah.
yeah. You talked about the Untethered Soul, and the other one is the Surrender Experiment is a really good one. Also,
Yeah, I haven't. And a
Michael
lot of
Singer,
this, like you
also
talk about
wonderful.
surrender, is that when we manifest this stuff, don't freak out about it and panic about it. Just know, believe, feel, whatever it is, that it's going to happen and let it go. Matthew McConaughey, he's got his list of stuff that way back when he was just before he even started acting, he had just started did a bit that in it he was like, whatever his signature, oh hey, or whatever it is that he says. But he had this list of like 10 goals that he had in his life. One of them was winning an Oscar and all this other stuff. He found it years later and looked and he goes, oh my God, like pretty much everything had happened and there was something else that's going to be happening. So be so bold.
Yeah,
Be so bold to proclaim what it is, what your goals are, what the stuff is.
yeah.
Because there's plenty of beliefs out there that the reason that you desire this stuff is because your soul has had it or has it at some other level or dimension. So we're not going to want or desire or imagine things that we haven't experienced before.
Absolutely. That's another fun activity, is to write a letter to yourself for a year from now. Give it to someone else to send to you, or put it in a place that, open on such and such a date. Just write it, seal it, and just say, hey, by the time you get this letter, I will have done all of this laundry list of things. This is what I will have accomplished, and go back and read it in a year and see where you
You
are.
know what? I've never heard it quite that way. I've heard other ways of doing it. I freaking love that idea.
Yeah.
I love that
We used
idea.
to do that. And I was with Keller Williams when I was in real estate, and actually they have, you said be so bold. It's funny because we have a training called Bold that we used to take every year, called it stands for Business Objectives of Life by Design. And that's actually one of my first introductions back into meditation and manifestation and The Secret, and
That course that you went to?
yeah, it was
Wow.
very progressive. It was all about, we're energetic beings having a physical experience. And it applied that quantum physics to the way we practiced our business, and the way we grew, and our setting our goals in real estate, and dealing with customers and all of that stuff. So that was probably even before I had my great awakening, aka Great Breakdown. Um,
Yeah.
you know, even before that, that was um, kind of in the forefront of my life, is doing that. And we had all these bold
So the
laws before
seeds
you.
had been
The
planted.
seeds had been planted for sure by that training. That training was amazing for life, not just real estate training, but
I
just
love it. I want to do some
we used to do
research on
that.
that because, yeah,
We
I
have
love.
a whole list of bold laws, where your attention goes, energy flows.
Mhm.
Never compare your insides to other people's outsides. I mean, a whole list of them. That, no pressure, no diamonds, right?
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, there were.
Yeah, one of the things Tony Robbins talks about is when you get to the point where you're frustrated, get ready because you're about to have a breakthrough. It's
Yes.
like don't
Oh,
don't
that
give
was.
up because you're right there at the peak. I mean, it's like
That's
just
what I when we
keep.
were talking before the video. That's what I was gonna say that I forgot, is that every great breakthrough is preceded by a great breakdown.
There you go.
You know, there's always a breakdown before a breakthrough. And we were talking about that because we were talking about what's going on in the world today, and how
Mhm.
everything is chaotic. And from my perspective, that chaos is a good thing, because it means we're about to emerge as a beautiful butterfly.
Mhm.
There's going to be a great breakthrough, and there's going to be a shift in consciousness for humanity.
Well, and you and I chatted, and I'll respect time because otherwise this will be a mini War and Peace novel instead of a soundbite.
It's so easy to
Uh,
talk to you.
yeah, we just keep chatting. Um, but it's one of those things that what's recently happened in the world could further divide, or my God is, or this inclination is that it's going to unite people. Um, because this is a human life that I mean, to where I think people can agree on so many levels that hopefully it's enough to jolt people out of what's going on. Having differences in politics is not the reason to take somebody out. I mean, religion, politics, all that stuff. I mean, respect other people's opinions and perspectives and all that stuff they have. And so my hope is that the loss of him and the life is not something that is lost, that it's a wake up call for people. And it will have the effect of uniting instead of further dividing.
Absolutely.
And so that's my hope. That's my hope.
Mine too.
So
Mine too. Hopefully it will. I mean, a lot of the events that have happened too have really, I think they've really made people start to question a lot.
mhm.
And when we ask questions, we evolve in our perspectives, and when we're not afraid to ask questions. I think a lot of people have gotten afraid to ask questions. They've gotten afraid to think for themselves. it's become almost taboo to even consider an opposing opinion anymore.
Mhm.
Yeah, my husband showed me this great comedy skit last night. I was talking to my kids about opinions. My kid said, "Oh," I said, "How do you form your opinions?" He was saying, "Oh, I looked at other people's opinions." I said, "Well, how do you know they're the ones that you agree with?" My husband showed me this great comedy skit that said, "Oh, this is another thing about Gen X. We had this really, really weird practice. It was, I know this is crazy, but we had this really weird practice where we used to like look at one side of the equation, and then we looked at the other side, and then we think for ourselves and decide where we stood with it."
Oh no.
We used to consider everything, but it's so true. I mean, it's a comedy skit, but it's so true.
Yeah.
I think the world has become so accustomed to just picking one side or the other, and then the other side is the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
A world where everyone agrees is boring.
Mm-hmm.
It's boring. There's no growth there.
I would
You
agree.
know?
I would agree.
We need diversity. We need different opinions. We need people at different stages of evolution, of life, of mentalities. We need the people that are still stuck in the weeds like I used to be. We need people that are gurus. We need everyone in between, because it's that growth, it's that learning from each other. It's that consciousness evolution that we are all doing together as a connected species, as a connected energy that is so powerful and beautiful.
I think that's a great place to end our conversation today. I frickin' appreciate your time. I love being in the room with you.
You too.
I look forward to next time. And I can't wait to hear what else you've learned and can share
So
with
much.
us. So yeah, there's going to be,
So
because there's
much.
going to be plenty of other rabbit holes that you're going down, and I cannot wait
Oh
to hear what you
yeah.
come
I
back
mean,
with.
gosh, you can always pick a topic with me and I'll just go with it because I'm a nerd.
And I'm right there with you. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate you challenging or at least keeping me honest on certain things, like with the word want. I mean, I'm such a word person. And I do it with other people, and I appreciate it when people share it back to go, that is not near, and it's like, you're absolutely freaking right. So I thank you for that.
Well,
This has been Leadership Soundbites with Michelle and Cynthia. Please like, share, subscribe. Until next time.